Okay, so let's get started making these labels. So we begin, and I just want to show you what I have here. I have laid out an artboard that measures 11 by 8.5. And again, what's amazing about working in Illustrator is that they're vector graphics, so they are resolution independent, so you can always resize it. Now, what else I've done is I actually have created a color palette that I want to work with. So when I take a look at my swatches, this folder at the bottom is my vintage colors that I have here. And let's take a look. Let's get started. So we begin. We start with a circle and we come on in. I'm going to hold down Shift. When we hold down Shift, we'll get a perfect circle. I'm going to click and click off. Now I have the stroke turned off. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to actually grab another circle. I'm going to hold down Shift and make for a little bit of a smaller circle. Now I have my smart guides turned on. So view, make sure your smart guides are turned on. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab my black arrow and click and hover, and I can see that this is intersecting. Now it doesn't matter 100%, but it is nice to line it up. The next thing that I want to do is come on over to my tools, and I'm going to actually click onto my rotate tool. Now what I want to do right now is I am going to set the rotate point. So I'm going to click and I'm going to hover, and I want to rotate these circles from the center of the big circle. So I'm going to click right here. Now I want to give it information about how I want it to rotate. What degree do I want it to rotate at? So I'm going to hold down Option and I'm going to click. And I can see that I have it set. I have it set at 30 degrees, and I'm going to click Copy. Now, in order to continue this, I'm going to hit Command D, and I'm going to rotate this around, and there I have my shape. My first label is done. But what I have now is I have this set of all of these different shapes. So I want to merge these shapes. So I'm going to click and select them all. And I'm going to open up my Pathfinder window. So I'm going to go to Window, and I'm going to find my Pathfinder window. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to use Unite. Now this is all one shape. Now sometimes it's also nice to add a little effect to this. So I'm going to come to Effect, and I'm going to choose just a slight drop shadow. So when I come on in here, I come to Effect. I want to stick with my Illustrator effects. I come to Stylize, Drop Shadow. Now always I want to click onto Preview. Let's bring this on into normal. Okay, and I need to have the shape selected. It wasn't letting me do anything because I didn't have it selected. So there's all these different things that you can run into as you work. So I have this selected, and again, I'm going to come to Effect, and I'm going to come to Stylize, and I'm going to choose Drop Shadow. I definitely want to choose Preview. Now, if I come on in and set it at normal, either way, and I want to bring this in a little bit. I'm going to undo the blur. Actually, maybe I'll keep it just a little bit. I'll put it at 01 and see where I am. Okay, I'm going to work with the offset as well. And let's see here. Maybe set this to 0.08. And I'm going to set the blur to 01. Maybe I'll set it and I can play around 05. Okay, I like the look of that. I'm going to click OK, click off, and there we have it. Now again, I can play around a little bit more and change this up as well. All right, let's do another one. Let's get the feel for this. I'm going to show you another way to do the rotate tool. So again, I can start with, let's start with a rectangle. So I can start with a rectangle, and I'm going to change this color up. I'll make it this color right in here. And then up on top of this rectangle, I'm going to add a different shape. So I'm going to come on up right into here, and I am going to choose, let's add a rounded rectangle. So I'm going to add a rounded rectangle and come on in and intersect these two. All right, now what I can do too is I can come on in and I can click and add more of a rounded corner. Again, I can merge these two with my Pathfinder. Oops, again, I need to have them selected. I'm going to select them and I'm going to merge them. Excellent. I'm going to move this on up. Now, I also want to come in and add, like pretend like it was a little hole that I could run something through. So I'm going to come on in here and I'm going to grab my ellipse tool and I'm going to just I'm going to hold down shift and make a little circle. I'm going to change the color of this circle. Okay, and I want to align it. So I'm going to select these two right here and I want to align them. So now this is in the center. Now what I'm going to do now is I want to delete this out. So I'm going to come one more time to my Pathfinder and I want to choose minus front. So I'm going to click onto this one and now that is empty. Again, I can add my drop shadow. So I'm going to come to my effect and I'm going to come to stylize. I'm going to choose drop shadow. I'm going to play around one more time. Actually, I'm not a big fan of blurs, as you probably can tell. And I'm going to make this, I want to turn on the preview. I'm going to make this just even a little less. And I'm going to click right in here. And I like this one even better. I'm going to hit OK. And I have my second label created. Now, as I'm working, I can already tell that I want this to be larger. So sometimes when I'm working on projects, I'll just grab onto my artboard, edit artboard, and I'll bring this down a little bit more. Bring it on down. And again, I can keep readjusting it. As we know, Illustrator is resolution independent. Let's do the rotate tool one more time. And let's click on into here. Let's click, I'm going to grab this shape right here. Okay, I'm going to change the color. Let's work on one that's in this color. And this time I'm going to actually add a triangle. Okay, great. So we come on in, and in order to make a triangle, I'm going to grab the polygon tool and I'm going to click up. Now this has 6 sides. So if I want less sides, I'm going to press my down arrow and I have a triangle. I'm going to flip my triangle around. I'm going to bring it on in, straighten it on up. Again, I can line these two up. I know that they're lined up because I just got that, but I can also use these two up in here. Okay, great. Now I want to do my rotate tool one more time. And I'm going to grab my rotate tool. Again, I'm going to set the center point. Now here's another option that you can do. From where you are, you can hold down Option and you can come on up to your shape and you can start rotating your shape. Now I can see these little points. I'm going to try to get as close to 20 as I can. This one is not as exact as the first method, so that's pretty darn close. I'm going to leave it right there. Okay, now in order to copy and paste it, I'm going to choose Command D, and Command D will bring me all the way around this shape. Okay, it was close enough to 20 that can't really tell the difference. Now again, one more time, I'm going to select all of these and I am going to choose for them to unite. Okay, now that I have them united, I'm going to add my drop shadow. Again, coming to Effect, to stylize, adding the drop shadow, hitting OK. Now I can wait and I can do all the drop shadows at the end if I'd like as well. So I have these first 3 made, and I think that what I've just shown you gives you a really good idea of how to get some of these started. If I go on back to these labels that I've created in here, let's take a look at how we would go about creating this one at the bottom that has sale 20% off. And I think probably by looking at it, you can get the sense. So let's come on back and take a look. Step 1 is beginning with a rounded rectangle tool. Step 2 is adding another one right above. Again, we can keep going in and changing it up, making this a little bit higher. And then our step 3 is coming on in and grabbing a circle in here, moving it on over. We can grab all three of these. We can center them, line them on up. Come on over, we can compare these two. I can come back and actually make this a little bit wider. Even bring this down a little bit and bring this one right over top. Excellent. I can click these all. Step one is to unite them. My next step is to come on in, get another little circle. I'm going to make a perfect little circle right here, a little one. I'm going to change the color just so I can see it a little bit better. I'm going to take this, bring it on down, drop it right in here. And again, I can align them perfectly. And I'm going for this one though, I'm going to do minus front. I have another label. Great. There's a ton of possibilities. Just by looking at these, I think that you probably get a sense of how they are done. Let's take a look at if I was to work with this one in here. Then we'll move on to look at some other labels as well, and some other different ways we can approach and add banners to them. So I'm going to click onto this one. And again, I can start with whatever shape I really want to start in the center. I tend to like circles, so I'm going to click this right in here. And again, I can come on in. If I want to change the color, I can. I'm going to go, let's go for this one. Excellent. All right, so my next thing I want to do is I'm going to actually grab a rectangle, a rounded rectangle, and I can make it however big I'd like to. I'm going to zoom it on in a little bit so I can see this all just a little bit better. I'm going to take this and bring it on in, line it on up. One more time, I'm going to grab the rectangle tool. I'm going to come on in. I'm going to center it. Now, again, I can hold down Option and click, and I can really set it to where I want it to be. I'm going to set it to 20 degrees. I'm going to choose to copy it, and I'm going to choose Command A. I'm going to move this all the way around. Command A. We'll bring this all the way around. I'm going to zoom it on, zoom it on out. And for this one, I'm going to choose to merge. Okay, so there we have it. Now, again, I could do this one more time, and I could do less than 20 degrees, and then they would be closer together. So let's do that. I'm going to, this time, we'll start with a circle again. Actually, let's choose a polygon. Let's do something different. Okay, so I'm going to actually come on in here. This has 3 sides. Let's go for 4, for 5, for 6. Let's go for 6 sides. Here we have our polygon. I'm going to change, let's do a different color. Great, let's choose that color right in there. Again, I can make this straight. And I'm going to choose a rectangle again. And I'm going to make this rectangle as long as I'd like for it to be. I'm going to click onto this, bring this on in, line it on up, maybe even bring it on in a little bit more, bring it up a little bit. Okay, we'll do this one the other way. I can hold down Option. I can move this up. Okay, well, before I do that, what I need to do is grab the Rotate tool. So I'm going to grab my Rotate tool, and I'm going to set the center point for this. So I'm going to come on in, set the center point. I'm going to hold down Option, move this over. Let's go for maybe about 10, as close to 10 as possible. Pretty darn close. I'm going to do Command D to move this all the way around 10 degrees. So there we have it, moving along. One more. Fabulous. Again, one more time. What we'll do is select all of these and merge them. And there we have our shape. Now, this one is interesting, and up in here it looks a little, maybe a tad bit wonky. To fix that, what I really needed to do was start with everything perfectly aligned. Now, this one's actually, it is kind of cool. It's a little bit different, maybe a tad bit off in some spots. Let's say if we were to do that one again, how would we get it all perfect? Well, let's take a look. Again, making our artboard a little bit bigger, bringing this on down, hitting Escape. and coming on in and starting one more time, starting with our polygon tool, creating a perfect polygon. Again, I want it to be nice and straight as well. Clicking this, coming on over, move this on over, and I'm going to grab my rectangle tool one more time. I'm going to make my rectangle a little bit thinner. Now, I'm going to make it the same color as the shape as well. I want to center these, so I'm going to grab onto this and I'm going to center them. Okay, so now I want to start rotating the shape. So I'm going to select the shape that I want to rotate, and I'm going to go grab my rotate tool, and I'm going to set the center point to where I would like for it to be, where I want the axis that I want to rotate from. I can hold down Option and click. And I have it set, I'm going to set it actually to 10 degrees perfectly, and I'm going to choose Copy. Okay, now I can Command D this all the way around, and it should end and not have that extra little shape built into it. So let's see. As we move on through, there we have it. We can see the difference between starting it with it aligned perfectly. Now, the reason why this one mattered was because it was it had multiple sides. It was a polygon, whereas the other one was a circle. One more time, I'll click. I will merge these labels. Now, what I could do all in one foul swoop is I can select these three, and I can come on up to Effect, and I can come to Stylize, and I can add a drop shadow. I can hit OK, and I can take these and I can organize them onto this page, make some larger, make some smaller. Again, adjust the size of my artboard if I need to. Now, again, the artboard is something that, we can add more, create another artboard, whatever it is that we would like to do. I'm going to add a drop shadow to this one as well. Coming on into Effect, coming to Stylize, to drop shadow. Okay, there we have it. Creating very simple vector labels by working with shapes, working with the rotate tool, and working with the Pathfinder. Okay, in the next video, I'm going to take a look at how to create some more interesting labels with banners and working with some gradients. And also we'll go on to look at how do we go about adding type. Thanks so much.